Adequate notice for this evening's meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and the place of meeting. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's going to be a long night.
Tripping over your tongue. Right, then, yeah.
It's going to be a real long night. Number one, pardon me, Lacey Elks presentation from Richard Bard. Rich Bard.
I get to go first?
Yes,
You get to go first.
Okay. As you mentioned, my name is Rich Bard. I'm a past exalted from the Lacey Elks. I'm a past state president of the New Jersey State Elks Association. And a couple of weeks ago, just a couple of weeks ago, a few short weeks, we were able to make a donation at the Recovery Center of a defibrillator. And while I was there, I talked about a lot of our programs, but specifically I talked about our drug awareness program, and I told a little starfish story that has become the kind of the emblem of our committee. And I believe Nick asked me to come tonight just to relate that same story here tonight. It's nothing that we made up. It's something that perhaps you've heard of before, but the emblem that we've adopted as our drug awareness pin is this starfish. The story goes that it was dead low tide, the sun was high in the sky, and a young man was walking down the beach, and he was throwing starfish back in the ocean. But the beach was littered with starfish. And there was an older gentleman watching him, and he went up to him and he said, "Son, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm saving the starfish." And he says, "Can't you see there's thousands of starfish on this beach? You'll never be able to make a difference." He bent down, he picked up another one, he threw it into the ocean. He said, "Well, I made a difference with that one." And that's kind of the premise of our drug awareness program. And that's why we were so pleased to be able to be a small donation to the Recovery House. And coincidentally, next weekend, Super Bowl weekend, we will. It is our statewide peer leadership conference where we bring in kids from. Actually, on Thursday it's the Path to Peer Leadership, and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it's peer leadership. Actually, Sean Judson is involved at the lodge with that program. And there will be kids from Lacey go up there. There are going to be kids from all over the state. And for the weekend, there will be drug awareness programs, motivational speakers, anti-bullying programs. It's really something that we, as the state association, and of course Lacey Lodge, very proud to be involved with. So thanks for giving me my 2 seconds of airtime here. And by the way, if anybody wants to join the Elks, call me or stop down the lodge, because we're always looking for new members. But I know Nick and Pete, you have a pin, right? But I did bring a couple more pins, so if it's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you for those donations.
Rich,
over
anytime
there,
you
Rich.
want to come and talk to the township committee, you got the open mic.
Give me a call.
Yeah, okay. And how much you said?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job, Rich.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah, nice job, Rich. You guys did a great job.
You got your 3D figured out?
I do. Yeah, I think we have
22nd?
Yeah, we have a.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Just keep an eye on
Oh, look at you.
God,
I'm impressed.
All right, next up,
marked it on my calendar today.
number 2, Lacey and Lights Christmas winners. Jim, come on down.
You got that stuff.
You want to talk about this?
Yes, good evening. Well, we're here tonight from the Recreation Office to formally announce our top vote getter in our Lacey and Lights Home Holiday Light Decorating Contest. And our winners are here with us in the audience today. And we had 1,662 votes cast over a span of about 3 weeks. And our leading house received 561 votes. So over 1/3 of the votes went to our homeowners who are here this evening from 880 Arlington Avenue. So we have a little presentation for them.
Sure.
Do you guys want to come around?
Yeah,
or?
yep.
All right. So we're gonna call up the Sanderson family, if you guys wanna come up to the front of the present it to you.
This is a different one from last year, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I better need my glasses to read this thing. All right. Okay. The 2018 Lacey Lights will present this award to 880 Arlington Avenue for coming in first place in the Lacey Lights 2018. It's signed by all of the township community members. And what do we have here, a little plaque here?
Yep. Yeah, a little trophy for the mantle.
We have something to put on there. Do you have any pictures of it or not? Is it ready?
I have pictures on our,
Oh, wow.
He's gonna use his fingerprints on it right now. I wouldn't take it out of the box because I didn't want to get my fingerprints
So
on
it's
it.
worth it out.
With all the storms we had in December, with the rain and everything.
Very nice. Very nice job. I'll put it back in the box for you. You gonna get any next year?
I'll put it together for our Facebook page, would that be all right? Sure. I'll send it around to the back.
I start planning right after Christmas for the next year.
Did you have a theme this year?
This past year, I didn't get the sign made up in time, but it was supposed to be Santa's reindeer tryouts. All the deer were supposed to be heading to the big Santa to try out for the sled. That was what they did.
Did you help?
Yeah.
Did you help a lot? Okay. Come on up here, just give me a picture of us. Stand in front. You stand in front.
All right. Okay, on three, big smiles, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Good job, thank you.
All right.
Yes, I finished off December, like I said, with the storm. I kept going out every night to make sure things were still standing. And it was so great, people beeping their horns and the little kids waving. That's what makes it so
Yes.
great. And then Christmas Eve morning, I ended up in the ER.
Oh.
I tripped over the dog and broke 2 ribs.
You were homeless?
It was a crazy
Okay.
one.
Tonight.
Very good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Pants.
Thank you.
Got
Jim, who
stuck
else
on
we
this.
Just the winners of the present this evening.
No,
Okay.
but you should have seen the polite little Paul. I almost did what I called myself. He's not. Oh my god.
At least you were nice.
Well, he said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, and I started laughing, so then he started laughing.
All right.
It was not graceful
broke
at
the
all.
ice.
Yeah. It was pretty
Okay.
funny. I'm like, thank God I didn't fall. Jim, anything else to say or no?
Jim, do you have anything else you need to say, or? Come on down.
I always have something to say.
Let me give you these back too. They're all taken care of as well.
Well, I just wanted to, thank everyone who participated in the Lacey and Lights program. We had 56 homes register. We had a group of volunteer judges go out, narrow that down to 16. We had signs out in front of everyone's home who was finalists, and then we did our bus tours. We had 4 tours go out. Weather was, we had some rainy nights. We had to cancel one because of torrential rains. But all in all, we had, 280 people go through the bus tours. The Methodist Church was nice enough to host our hospitality break in the middle with refreshments and some warmth, and it was a lot of fun. So, like I said, 1,662 people cast votes. Our votes ranged from 562 all the way down to like 20, but it was a lot of fun. I think the most impressive part was when the buses were going around. Many of our homeowners who took the time to decorate were on their porch waving, and there was a lot of interaction. you know, which really meant a lot to the kids on the bus that were looking in, as well as in the cars driving by continuously, because it was a very busy 3-week span when people were driving through the neighborhood. So we hope that we can continue this tradition, and we'd love to see you guys next year, you know, in our competition. So it was a lot of fun. I do want to thank some of the sponsors that donated.
Absolutely.
We had the Captain's Inn, Papuli's Pizza, Anthony's Pizza, Charlie Brown's Fresh Grill, Lakeside Diner, and the Methodist Church were our sponsors, and then also Ocean Trophies was also one of our sponsors as they helped provide the awards. So
So we, 56, that's up from last year?
up from last year, yeah.
How many more?
It was 47 last year. We had about 10 drop off, and then another 20 or so add on.
Okay.
So,
Good.
but it was a lot of fun. So it was a great success. We're looking forward to it next year and making some changes, making it a little better as we go
Good.
this year. So,
Good.
the most important thing I can stress right now is that we are in the process right now of looking for part-time seasonal help for our summertime.
Okay.
So we are, you know, have positions in our beach patrol, in our summer camp program, as well as extra help that we could always use in the office, selling beach badges, you know, attending the skate park. So anyone who is interested in applying to work, come down to our office.
16 to 20.
Yeah, you must be 16 years and older. Come to our office, we have applications. They will be due back to us by the end of February, so we want to give you plenty of time to get that packet and get it back to our office. And we also have an opportunity for 14 and 15-year-olds as a volunteer position, our Leaders in Training program. So anybody who is interested in our camp program, who may have been to camp as a camper and thinking about maybe wanting to become a counselor as they get older and become 16, our 14 and 15-year-olds do have the opportunity to volunteer twice a week through our Leaders in Training program. So that's, you know, pretty much what I want to just share this evening, as we are, you know, very actively preparing 2019 for the community, and I appreciate your time for having me here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. 2019 budget dates.
I proposed a list of dates for the budget meetings. I usually do them the opposite Thursdays of our township meetings. So upon speaking with Linda Cabello, our CFO, she will be ready to have some information available to us February 7th. And I'm suggesting we invite the emergency squads then do February 21st and invite the police and public works. March 7th for the overall budget and capital. And if we can finalize it that night, fine. Otherwise, we could do March 21st and finalize the budget and capital that night as a fourth meeting. I'd like to introduce March 28th, right in accordance with the guidelines set by the state, and then do a public hearing and final adoption on April 25th, which will keep us right in line with the state prescribed deadlines. And I just need to know a time that you guys want to start the
Wait,
meetings.
do those dates again, 7th, 21st?
February 7th, March 21st, February 21st, March 7th, and March 21st.
Yeah,
I'm not available on the 21st, just to let you know.
March 21st or February 21st?
March 21st, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm hoping that maybe we don't have to have that fourth meeting, but
Well, so
I'd like to do three, but
So,
trying to say,
we want to try to start these at 6 o'clock?
I like 5:30.
5:30?
does 5:30 work?
6?
Everybody, 5:36? What?
6? 6 o'clock.
Okay, 6.
6 o'clock?
No.
Nick, you all right?
I would if I
I got
had
an
to.
open schedule.
Yeah, I'm good too.
All right,
All right, what are we doing?
try 6.
6 p.m.?
6 p.m. 6 p.m. on the,
So I'll invite the emergency squads to the February 7th meeting, and I'll advise the chief and the director of public works for the February 21st meeting.
that works.
Okay.
Pardon me. Number 4, request to post, what are we posting here, signs?
Yes.
Posting signs for,
Sorry.
A, Lacey Soccer Club, and B, Relay for Life.
Okay, Lacey Soccer is having their in-person registration. They hold it at the Recreation Center on 2/13 and 2/15. So of course, in the week of the event, they would like to post signs throughout the town. Those typical lawn signs that they have. I just need permission.
Motion?
Move it.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 5.
Next is Relay for Life.
Oh.
They are also, they're having their kickoff event, February 21st at the Mill Pond School. They, again, are looking to post signs throughout the community. They would like at least 2 weeks in advance to be able to do that. So I just need permission to do that.
Move it.
Move it, second.
All in favor?
Okay, number 5, use of public park for special event. The first one up is Rossbridge Church Easter Sunrise Service, Bayfront Park, April 21st, 2019.
They've done it in the past. There's been no problems. They do a beautiful sunrise service down at the Bayfront Park. It's a great location for it. They're usually in and out within an hour's time frame. And they've done it in years past. Motion?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the Pine Barrens Modelers Club, remote plane event on Deer Head Lake, May 11th, 2019.
Move it. Second.
This is a great event as well. It was done last year, and it drew a lot of public participation, so it's a nice evening.
Okay,
So you're all in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have for this agenda. We can go right into the township agenda.
Township meeting, okay. All right, adequate notice for this evening's meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to the public laws of 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press, and the Beacon was posted on the bulletin boards showing the time and place of the meeting. Please rise for the salute of the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Number 1 on the list, Resolution 2019-63, authorizing the interlocal service agreement with Harvey Cedar for IT services.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the execution of an interlocal services agreement with the Borough of Harvey Cedars for the provision of IT and network administration and computer hardware and software maintenance. We share our IT guy with Harvey Cedars on an as-needed basis. So, usually our IT guy goes there at least quarterly, and then on an as-needed call-in basis, and they reimburse us for his hourly rate and all fringe benefit costs.
Motion?
Move it.
Second.
Steve, Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Number 2, Resolution 2019-64, authorizing the interlocal service agreement with the County of Ocean for the Child Restraint Program grant.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution of interlocal service agreement with the County of Ocean for the Child Restraint Program grant. This is where a grant offered by the county, it expires September 30th of 19, whereas the county reimburses the town $55 per hour for services performed with regards to certifying child safety seats in vehicles.
Move it. Second.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution, this is number 3, Resolution 2019-65, authorizing the release of a performance bond for the Railroad Avenue Extension Project.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the release of a performance bond for P&A Construction Incorporated for the Railroad Avenue Extension Phase 1 project. This is being recommended to be released by the engineer on record, which is T&M Associates. They have posted the required maintenance bond, which will stay in place for 2 years.
A motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Resolution 2019-66, authorizing the refund of deposits.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Excuse me. Resolution 2019-67, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills in the amount of $862,960.88.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes. Motion to approve the township meeting minutes of January 10th, 2019.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the caucus meeting minutes of January 10th, 2019.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the raffle license applications for the Jersey Coast Anglers.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have no add-ons.
No add-ons. Okay, comments from the committee. Deputy Mayor Kennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two brief comments. Yesterday, I spent the entire morning with our attorney and Veronica going over I was in mediation with Save Barnegat Bay to resolve our differences at Bayfront Park. We haven't resolved it yet, but the goal of those sessions is always to minimize the cost of both litigation and remediation to the township. So hopefully I'll be able to resolve that soon. And I also started receiving reports from the DPW on different issues that occur throughout the town, like potholes and tree branches. And I would say every concern is addressed. Sometimes they take longer than others, and they do their best to address these different issues as quickly as possible, and usually they're dependent on weather and certain other circumstances. So everything does eventually get addressed. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Committeeman Giuliano?
Just a few things. First of all, I'd like to thank Rich Bear and the Lacey Elks for coming. That program, when he first brought it up about that starfish, it intrigued me because of being down at the recovery center and everything that the Elks do for us. I was happy that he was able to help us in different ways down there and to explain to you a little bit about this starfish program. I'm just going to end it with, I would like to thank all the fire companies, the EMSs, everybody that does everything in this town to make Lacey what it is today, including our employees in the town. They make our town sparkle the way it does, and we're going to keep that up. That's all I really have tonight. Thank you.
Committeeman Dykoff?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank Rich Bard for coming in. Also want to point out members of the committee had attended 2 reinstallation dinners for volunteer organizations, the Lenoka Harbor Fire Company and Lenoka Harbor EMS. And it was, now, the funny thing about Lenoka Harbor Fire Company, and I hadn't been to any installation dinner in a number of years, and I used to enjoy them, but I walked in and I noticed they were all in their uniforms. And as I saw members that I knew, I commented, I said, "This is great," and they go, "No, it's not." You know, I guess they felt a little uncomfortable. You know, maybe they didn't fit so good, or just. So by the end of the night, ties were loose and jackets were off, but they really, really looked the part. And I really was impressed with the way they looked. I had the occasion to attend a Toms River council meeting, and not to plagiarize another councilman, but the vice council president, Mo Hill, was speaking, and he spoke about the volunteers, and he said something that I thought kind of rang true, and he said, a township is like a 3-legged stool, and you have the municipal government, and what Mr. Giuliano mentioned about your workers, and Veronica, and the people who run the everyday functions of the town, and you have the schools who teach our children and work very hard, and then you have our volunteer organizations, and without that 3-legged stool, you take one away, the stool falls down. So thank God we have 3 very good legs in our stool, and get a great town. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Curtello?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with a prepared statement from our Recreation Department, but it touches home, and we stand in solidarity with federal employees that have been laid off. So this is for immediate release. Lacey Township Recreation Department is currently offering free programs for federal employees and their family members being impacted by the government shutdown. In addition, several youth sports organizations are allowing delayed payments to register children for spring sports whose parents are impacted by the government shutdown. While government employees continue to go without a paycheck, they should not have to sacrifice their kids' exercise routines or recreational activities. Some of the classes which are being offered to federal government employees impacted by the shutdown include Tuesday night yoga, Zumba with Diane, Fit Mix, and a fusion body sculpting workout. Lacey Girls Softball Association, Lacey Soccer Club, Lacey Roller Hockey Association are just some of the youth sports organizations which are allowing delayed payments for families being impacted by the federal government shutdown. For a full list of free programs offered to Lacey Township Recreation Department for federal employees as well as youth sports organizations accepting delayed payments, please contact Lacey Recreation at 693-1100. Obviously, there will be some type of identification that will need to be shown Obviously, the payment, once this shutdown ends, people are gonna have to make that payment. But what we don't want to see, and when we talked about it, is somebody go without. So in accordance with that, and in accordance with the economy, I'll conclude my comments with this. 2 days ago, I saw a clip on the news. It said that 5,700 millionaires in 2018 left New York and New Jersey. They left because of a burdensome tax structure. They knew that they would have an easier time of it, and any number of states I could name right now, we all know what those states are, and we see the mass influx into them every day and out of New Jersey every day. Knowing the demographics of the state, Ocean County, fortunately, continues to gain 1 to 3% a year, but we can't make up for the loss of the other 20 counties, so there is an exodus out. And so when you hear on the radio in the morning, last person to leave New Jersey, turn the lights out, don't laugh, because it's scary. So what we try to do is, I say elections have consequences because I mean it. And without getting political, we have a governor whose primary focus was to run on legalized marijuana. We have Senator Menendez, who won re-election easily. We have Congressman Kim, who was hardly ever in our county. I don't know if he'll be in our county moving forward, compared and contrasted to Congressman MacArthur, who was here all the time. So these elections have consequences, and policymakers, when they make these burdensome tax structures that affect people, socialism only works until wealthy people's money runs out. I'm proud to say that Ocean County has a AAA bond rating. That means we borrow at a lower rate. Lacey Township, more importantly and moreover, has been very fiscally responsible over the years. That's because of the leadership that we have in the town. And each year, we make difficult decisions with the budgets. We don't just bond our lives away like some other towns do all around this country. We make the choices that are difficult. I'm proud of some of the choices. I'm proud of all the choices that we make. We try to do what we can do. But what we won't become is a bankrupt, sinking ship like some other areas around us, like some other states in the nation that need not be mentioned. So I felt like saying that. I'm proud of our record with business. We're a destination for businesses here. And you look at our corridor, and I'm very hopeful. Our commercial corridors, County Road 614, Lacey Road, Route 9, and I will close, Mayor, with saying I'm very hopeful that we get this township center designation very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I too was at the induction of the officers for Winoka Harbor Fire and Winoka Harbor EMS. And one of the things that, I can't remember which one said it, but he mentioned that it was an unthankful job that they do. And that kind of struck me, because it's not unthankful. When they roll up and they're working on your spouse, you are grateful that they are there. Or they take care of your son's broken leg or arm because you fell off a bike, you're very grateful. Or when they apply Narcan so that you don't pass away, you are very grateful. And we in Lacey Township are especially lucky to have the volunteers that we have. Because if you look at the numbers of they go out and roll out, and it's enormous. It's like 3 or 4 every day in Lacey Township, and these are all volunteers. They do a great job, and sometimes we don't applaud them enough, and I think we need to do more with that and applaud them, because they give up their time. And you look at the hours these put in. Some of these people they work a job, and then they come and work another 40 hours volunteering to make sure that you and your loved ones can get to a hospital, or they can take care of you, and we need to support them. And I think we're going to be able to do that. Lock your cars at night. I got a text the other night from the chief. We've had a rash of break-ins, the cars at night, and a car was stolen. And turns out all of these cars were unlocked. So I would tell you, you can just, most of these cars have, the key changes. Before you go to bed, just hit it, make sure the car is locked. But I am real happy today that our police were on the job, our detectives were on the job. I got a text this morning, I think it was. They got the burglars and they got the car back. So I think that's a really good job for the police department. Recycling, I'm gonna mention this every meeting. It's so important for us to do the recycling, cover those, the newspapers, cans, so that they're not wet. Pizza boxes with the grease in them, you can't recycle them. This is extremely important to us as we go forward, and we're gonna get some more information. And one of the things I think we're gonna be able to do is, from our recycler, is figure out the areas that are not doing it the right way the most. You're gonna get a tag that goes on your recycling can that they can't take it for various reasons. And once we find out what routes they are, we're gonna figure out something we can do to go out and talk to these people to make sure that they are doing it the right way. It's like $200,000. It's an incredible amount of money that we could possibly be losing over this. So I'm gonna bring this up every meeting, so it's gonna be ad nauseum, so. Just want to say that Meet the Mayor is the second Tuesday of every month at 5:30 down at the library. Had my first one, and then I met a couple of people, very nice people, had some concerns, and we were able to take care of them. And this afternoon, when I was driving back from work, I was out in Pennsylvania all day, I got a phone call from Mayor Amato over in Berkeley Township. And what we're going to try to do for the federal employees, especially the Coast Guard, we're going to try to do I got to talk to them tomorrow, some sort of food drive. So you'll get some more information on that. We got to work that out. And Committeeman Cortell mentioned about, the payment for the sports teams and stuff like that. They'll be deferred. They're not going to be free. They'll be deferred for as long as they're not, as long as we're out. And I just pray that these guys get together and get this thing resolved. To me, it's just complete stupidity. So with that, that's all I have. So comments from the public.
Bill Moss, Biscayne Drive, Forked River Beach. I just want to bring up a few items. Mr. Color-Powell talked about our illustrious governor. People have to realize he wants to make this a sanctuary state, and his next thing down the line is to give all illegal aliens a driver's license in New Jersey. Free of charge.
Were you here last month?
We resolved against
the
that.
last meeting?
Yeah.
We did a resolution to prevent that because, as I said, that's the first step
That's right.
to making us a sanctuary state.
Next thing I'd like to ask about is, I live on the south end of town, and off of Clearwater Drive, it seems either the state or the county has dumped at least a dozen piles of big stones, rebar from streets, rocks, everything else, alongside the bike trail. Anybody said anything, what are they gonna do with them? Are they gonna get rid of them, or do we have to sit and look at them forever? At least a dozen truckloads, dump truckloads, right along the back trail.
I cannot recall why that is there. It has totally slipped my mind, but I did have that answer, and I apologize that it's not coming to me right now. Because I questioned the same thing, because I saw it get dumped there too. I know we have some drainage issues over there with the trail and everything, but I cannot recall why that was there and who did it. I apologize for that.
If it was, good stuff, it's somebody's garbage.
Right.
Isn't that the access?
There's access along the trail to the back site there.
Right.
Private
Yeah.
property.
That's not where that's dumped. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, and I did
That's what
have
I
to
said.
answer it for the life of me. It's
That's
not
what, is
coming
it
to me.
private property is what I'm getting at. Isn't that private properties?
The front part is private property as well.
And that's where it's
Yeah.
dumped.
Yes.
So maybe it's the private property owners.
Yeah, I had the answer, but I don't remember what it was because I did question it, and that there was an answer for it.
Next question is, several months ago, you sent out bids to finish the railroad road on the far side, on the other side of town, on the south side.
No, we didn't send out bids. No, incorrect. There was no bids.
There was no bids, I
No,
apologize.
no.
When
We
is
have an
that-
engineer working on the improvements for that and the conceptual plan, and we're waiting to hear from the state if they're going to fund any of it.
This doesn't, who has to put the traffic light in? You're supposed to get a four-way traffic light.
That would be part of the project.
Not part of the project.
And you just released the bond for just the other side, that's it?
We released the performance bond, it went to maintenance, but one has nothing to do with the other. P&A Construction did everything they were required to do under their bid and their contract, which had nothing to do with a traffic light. The conduit and all of that and the flashing school zones were all put in by the current contractor for the north side of the property.
Okay. The next thing I have is, remember tomorrow is the Municipal Alliance Luncheon,
Right.
and, you know, we're hoping you guys will be there.
I'm gonna try to get down. I had a busy day today. I was out of the office all day, so we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. If I'm not there, Mr. Kennis will be there. Not if that's a promise.
That's all I have.
Second fiddle.
Anyone else from the public? Yes.
Sean Judson, Hilltop Drive in Oak Harbor. Good evening. I have a question. You spoke about being fiscally responsible here. I noticed, I was reading some different articles, and I saw that this township committee approved a water line down to Joey Harrison's. Has at any time, has the township ever paid for a private citizen to have water lines put in?
I am
No.
going to actually comment on that because I have instructed the mayor and the township committee not to comment because this is a matter related to litigation. I do want the public to be aware, however, that there has been at this point in time no expenditure of any public funds for that installation. I am currently reviewing everything and nothing will move forward. In fact, the agreement has not even been signed. Nothing will move forward until I give the go-ahead, and there will be another resolution presented to the governing body for them to vote on it again.
Okay, I should hope not. I should hope that doesn't go through, because that is not fair, putting an undue burden onto our taxpayers when we already have not gotten any answers about the power plant shutting down and what's going to happen with the taxes there. And then this is coming up that we're going to be paying for a water line. I believe that we should not be putting an undue burden on our taxpayers.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public? State your name and address, please.
Rhiannon Mindus, Woodside Road, Forked River. I'm here tonight just to bring to your attention, I think you may have mentioned it at the last meeting, that we have an ongoing issue in our neighborhood in the Pines. Our two cul-de-sacs are comprised of Frazee and Woodside Road, and we have a large retention basin that's behind our homes, parallel to Pheasant Run. Having lived here for over 10 years, I can tell you that a very serious flooding issue has developed in about the last year and a half. Our basin no longer drains, and the stormwater drains are full up to the grate pretty consistently. It's not letting our groundwater subside whatsoever, and it's caused our sump pumps to activate every 30 seconds, increasing our electric bills. And this month, one of our transformers blew, cutting out the power, and multiple basements flooded. It's not the first time the basements have flooded. However, when JCP&L was working to restore the power and open the box, that was also submerged in water. So there's a concern that, that may happen again, causing more property damage. And it seems that over time, a lot of the vegetation in that basin has become overgrown, composted on itself, and filled itself in. So we're asking that, if it's possible, to look at the drainage to maintain that area. And I have a list of all of the homes that were affected in that last.
Part of the problem right now is we have a very high water table because of all the wetness. And we've seen areas where people have had to put in sump pumps that never have had drainage before in very high areas. So, and you are in an area where your drainage basin, part of your basin problem too is to get our equipment in there with water. We can't right now. It's not safe for us to get our equipment in there. And it has a deep pitch. So our equipment can't get in there because it's not sloped. When it was built with a pitch. So we are going to, once it drains enough, go over there and see what we can do to rectify the situation and see if we can clear it out. But again, we're in a very high water table because of the rain today doesn't help either, because we've seen unusual flooding in other areas as well. But we are working on it. Mr. Kennis has been speaking with the Director of Public Works, and as soon as we can get in there and look at the areas, we will be.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want the homes or?
No, I'm very familiar with it because I did go out and look at it myself. I know he's gone out
I
to
looked
look
at it
at it.
myself too. It's a bit, I think it's the worst in town right now.
Yeah, it's holding a lot of water right now.
You feel better now, you have the worst in town.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the public? Regina?
Regina DeSenza, Sunset Drive, Sunrise Beach. Mr. Curatolo, you made mention that Andy Kim has not been around yet. I'm leaving for Washington on Saturday. I'm supposed to meet with Andy Kim on Tuesday. One of my goals is to invite him here. I am attending a National School Board Association conference. It's about special ed funding, but we do want to bring him to the district. So hopefully we will soon see our
And
congressman.
Mr.
here in
Senza, there
town.
was nothing negative against Congressman Kim.
No,
I
I know.
hope he comes here. I hope
We
he
definitely
helps us
want him
with
to come here.
with the nuclear plant. I want him to be here.
Don't worry.
I hope it's not political.
I
I know
have
that,
my own agenda with him, and he's definitely on it,
you know,
so.
I know that
I
Burlington
will
came
do
out
my
strong
best
for him.
to lure
and
him here.
Some things are, a lot of things are more important than politics. The lifeblood of towns is certainly one of them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No question about it. We need our congressman here.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
Seeing none, motion to close the floor?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
You have the resolution
Oh.
for the executive
Resolution's
session.
going to executive session. 68.
Resolution 2019-68, authorizing the convening of an executive session.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing convening an executive session to discuss matters of personnel, contractual matters, and anticipated pending litigation. Motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor McDonald?
Yes.
No official action will be taken after the
Motion to
executive
adjourn, please?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
session. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.